Good morning, and thank you for joining us today on The Insight. Today on The Insight, we are still taking a critical look at the state of Nigeria. We have a Nigeria that is on edge, and we're looking at the state of the nation, facing a complex challenges such as security concerns, economic hurdles, and political dynamics that shape our collective future. And joining us this morning to x-ray on the state of the nation, Nigeria that is on edge, is Ozo Nadiume of Okansi, a legal icon, a farmer, and a human rights activist. Ozo.
Yeah, Uche, thank you for having me this morning.
It's a pleasure to have you on The Insight.
I'm always available.
This morning, Ozo, we are taking a look. Should we say we are taking stock? Yes, of this nation. And I want to begin by asking you, how do you assess the current political landscape in Nigeria, especially with the weakened opposition that is fragmented, factionalized, speaking about the PDP and the recent shift towards the ruling APC?
Well, if we say we are taking stock of events, that will take us the next 2 days to finish it up. So let us say we're taking a look, yes, at some of the events that are, unfolding in the nation as of recent. I think we'll start from the known to the unknown.
Right.
So, or we say we'll start from the mega down to the micro. The most recent issues trending on very Nigerian political, social, and including social media space today is the conviction of Nnamdi Kanu.
Sure.
It has sent a lot of shockwaves across the nation to some people, while few who benefit from the oligarchy rejoice, others who want at least let truth be told for once in Nigeria are sad. But as a legal practitioner, I personally don't see it as anything that anyone should lament about, because when you give an activist, because as far as I'm concerned, Nnamdi is an activist, if you give an activist that kind of sentence, we have virtually advertised him, and eventually he's going to come out. Yes.
Also, I know.
I don't want to do anything, but
we'll get to, no, definitely
yes,
we'll get to that. One can have a legal luminary like you and not talk about the legal implications of those judgments. Exactly. Yes. In fact, it will have been a discussion on its own, but we'll come to it, Barrister.
Yeah.
Yes.
So other issues which you raised, like the weakened opposition, and I don't think the opposition is even weakened. The ruling party is trying to weaken the opposition.
Okay.
That is what is happening.
But Barrister, with what is happening in the PDP, don't think
I'm coming.
They are weakened.
I'm coming.
Okay.
See, PDP is not weakened.
Okay.
The ruling party is trying to weaken every other political party. You can see the things they have been doling out to people. If you defect as a governor from any of the opposition party, you get 250 billion naira.
Allegedly or confirmed?
My brother, this is allegedly wahala.
We need to be safe with facts.
These things are on the public domain from reputable online and offline news media, and they have not refuted it. Okay. That is the underlying fact.
When they come after
they started making
Barrister, when they come after our licenses, of course you give us a free representation.
No, they are there in the free world space, so you can see it. So even Punch Online reported it. So we want the federal government to deny it, that they didn't give any money to anybody. So then maybe those people who have the news might also go, because that kind of money is also you call Uche come, you give you in the Ghana must go. It must be by transfer, because nobody will carry 250 billion. No. So they must have gotten bank clips that show that this money was given. Now, why do I say it's just merely what the ruling party is doing will eventually turn around, boomerang against them? It's already boomeranging. Let me come home now, because we say from the known to the unknown.
Yes.
Our governor, who everybody has been clapping for the past 2 years, when he came in, because some people, like I said, including myself, gave him no chance. But when he came in, he started impressing everybody. He also impressed me. I wouldn't tell you lies. But I know there are lapses, like where he gave us 80 days for water, and it's almost 2 years or 3 years down the line, no water yet. And again, this issue of taxation, giving people targets, and stifling the life out of the poor masses. It's telling against his government. But there are other physical things on the ground which we can see. Because Professor Lumumba has said that if you are a governor in any country in Africa, or a president, and you do a job of 10 billion, and you use 100,000 naira to advertise it, then you have done nothing. Because what you did should be advertising itself. You don't need to advertise. So governor of Enugu State, ordinarily, the good ones they have done don't need any advert. Because this international conference center, I keep on referring to that international conference center, it's a money-maintaining institution that he has actually completed. 2 successive administrations left it. 16 good years of comatose. It was Chimaroka who started on that project. After Chimaroka left, the movie was abandoned by Sullivan for his 8 years. Bubu came, attempted to know whether I can do 1 or 2 things there. It was also abandoned for another 8 years. That is 16 years down the line. But this young man came and confronted, hello, there is no day you, because I live, my house is as I pass that place almost every day. There is no day you come, there will be no activity in that place. And there is a mall there. So, but that's not the only thing. So a lot of streets now have roads, which Bubu didn't do. Now, he accepted that sometimes there might be some technical hitch because government might be trying to say, I must finish this. And some detractors might be saying, you can't finish it. So it happens. So, but what I'm saying, why did I give you this few lowdown? Because he belonged to the PDP. And he could have been the leader of the PDP in the nation. Because we measure people by their achievement. All of a sudden, the next thing we had was the man was going into APC. I'm not a member of PDP, I'm not a member of APC. But I could have believed that if he had stayed put in his PDP, that temptation of 250 billion, if it were given to them, to shun that temptation and do the one he's been doing, people are already scoring him. He is even changing the mind of people already. But all of a sudden, he now jumped into APC. Now, having gone into APC, there were etymological members who are in APC. You know, they gave him a fight, including Richard Naju, who was removed as a minister, including Chuks-Ronnie Baladem, including even my own House of Rep member who jumped from the Obedient Movement Labour Party to APC earlier than the man. And now, the question is, will APC give anybody even any direct ticket without contest? It is not very unlikely. Very unlikely. So those people who are jumping into APC, maybe who are in other political, who won election in other political parties and jump into APC with hope that they will be given free ticket, they are going to meet a brick wall. Because I'm sure the governor is also struggling for his own nomination. So he can't guarantee your own nomination when he cannot get his own on a platter of gold. So that's why I said, at the end of the day, APC will be the harder to be scattered. Why the other ones that are scattering now will be the harder to be united. That's why I said, whatever they are doing to the opposition, it's just something that is eventually going to boomerang. It's just like what these people did during the time of Jonathan. They wrote letter, including Tinubu, who is here now as president, that there is genocide in the north and they are clean Christians. They took it to White House and prepared on Obama that this kind of thing cannot stand. Obama listened to them, campaigned against Jonathan, even from the United States. And the Buhari brought in all kinds of mercenaries from Niger that once Jonathan didn't concede defeat, let blood flow. Jonathan considered defeat, blood did not flow. And the people refused to go back. Now they are unleashing the mayhem on the people who brought them. And now people are now saying there is no genocide in Nigeria. When you were the first who wrote that there was genocide in 2012. So my brother, what I'm saying is that APC should take it easy. There's no way you can run a nation as vast as Nigeria under a one-party state. It's not possible.
Okay. But I know you're not of the PDP, but with the legal tussle in the PDP, the fragmentation, the factionalization, the Wadata Plaza is a crime scene as we speak, is occupied by the police. Do you think PDP will emerge from these ashes?
You see, if they emerge from the ashes, it's up to them. If they don't emerge, it's up to them to stay. What I'm saying is that at the end of the day, my good lecturer Ezedenko, who was a lecturer there in College of Education, I can say that education is what remains in you after they followed out of everything you have learned at school. So whichever people remains will become the PDP. That's what I mean. The new woman says that if it is only one thing that remains the grass cut and the mouth, that they will use it and they cut the grass. So if it is only one responsible person, forget the Lego gymnastics, because the Supreme Court has said most of those things are internal affairs of the party. So you don't waste the time of the court or such things. But when there is criminality involved, court can always look at it when police charges somebody to court. All
right, but Barrister, the emphasis here is that Nigerians don't have a representation in terms of opposition, given that the PDP as of today is nowhere. We can't talk about Labour Party as we speak. The ADC is losing momentum faster than they gained it. So the emphasis again is on opposition. in Nigeria?
Yes, the opposition, that's why I said the opposition in Nigeria will eventually get their facts together. They will. Let me tell you why. You see, I belong to the Labour Party, at least for now. But principally, we have a movement we call the obedient movement.
Okay.
That obedient movement is where I strongly believe. And that's the only position we have now. It's not a political party, but it's a movement. That movement stands as the only opposition because you can watch. Everybody is waiting. Whenever P2B sneezes, APC catches cold. Just sneeze. Let P2B just say, I'm going to London. Everything, give me the 10,000 interpretations. Let you say, I'm coming back from London. They give you 10,000. And he's the only person who gives the opposition a dose of their misrule. He will tell them what they have done wrong and why they did it wrong and when they did it wrong and what they could have done right. That's the real opposition. That was the greatest asset of this APC during the Jonathan years with Lai Mohammed. Because Lai Mohammed is a very cerebral human being. He will come here, run Jonathan down, give him an alternative which he could not follow. So Nigerians will not be dancing between what he has been doing and the alternative offered by Lai Mohammed. So that is the opposition will eventually get their together. And the very moment you say you made it now in your intro that ADC is losing a substance faster than it gained it. Why? Because they are dilly-dallying over the choice of the Nigerian youths. Because the Nigerians have their choice. And their choice is simple P2B. So the very moment ADC says P2B is now the ticket holder for our party, you see the energizing of activities in politics. If Julius Abure tries to eschew his greed or whatever he might call it, but I think it's greed. Because ordinarily, if he has been in that office for this number of years and then succeeded in getting the kind of success he got through P2B in 2023, it is enough for him to say, let another person try. New brooms, they say, sweep better. Okay. You don't say you must be there. It mustn't be you. So without you, Labour Party cannot exist. That's why I look at his insistence on being the chairman, on running the Congress he ran in, what do you call it, in Newi, and that produced himself. So if he has listened to the voice of reason, you can see virtually everybody who won the election of the Labour Party has jumped ship because of the crisis. But what I'm saying that they have jumped from frying pan into the fire. APC is not a cold water.
That still has to be seen.
No, you will see it.
If I don't want to play the devil's advocate, but even the obedient movement is equally silent for some time now.
No, obedient movement has not been silent. If you are a member of the obedient movement, you just Google obedient movement online. You see both registration, everything is done online. The people are strategizing and waiting. Every opportunity that lends itself to the activity, you see action. I'll give you an example. 24th of July was P2B's birthday. It was celebrated nationwide. No political office holder, even sitting office holder, has had his birthday celebrated all over Nigeria like that. That's what I say. The village is waiting for any action to say, this is where this man is. You know them. They stop the social media space.
You still believe that people will find their place with what is going on?
No. Do you know how many political parties are in Nigeria? Do you know? Go and check them. Tinubu can, buy over the bigger ones. He thinks are bigger ones, like PDP, Labour Party, maybe YPP, which of course is going to its extinction. But there are a lot of other smaller parties. Remember, this Labour Party was just a non-starter until P2B joined it in 2022. You can recall that. And that time it had only its president candidate as what is the other young man, the Professor Batu Utomi. So immediately P2B came in, part stepped down for him, and the team activity geared up. And immediately geared up, you saw the difference. Let's forget they are not confessing, even though they are confessing now. But leave the confession because the confession goes to no issue. But the beauty of the confession is that the confession was done in the lifetime of the winner. Okay. Unlike Obiola's own, who came when he has died, and they started awarding him president and GCF posthumously. P2B's own came in his lifetime. They verified them, confessed, yes, this man won the election. But I felt we were going to get a better offer by a Muslim ticket. But it didn't work out. So the confession is by the way. So let us just keep our fingers crossed.
Let's just leave the obedient movement.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
It will be equally a discussion for another day.
No, I'm around.
So I want to ask, let's move to the economy.
Yeah.
I want to get your assessment of the economy, bearing in mind that over 54% of Nigerians are still living below poverty line.
The economy is almost at, in fact, I think this topic is Nigeria as on
Nigeria on edge.
On edge.
Yeah.
So, but we could have centered around the economy, because see, if I start discussing the GDP, this, that, the average man watching us on social media may not understand this. How do you check economic growth? You check economic growth because this pen you are holding in your hands now, you bought it sometime maybe in 2022 for 5 naira or for 10 naira. I know it wasn't up to 20 naira, but today, to buy this pen, you'll be asking of between 100 and 200 naira.
200.
Fine, to buy one. That's the measurement I use. Now, as at petrol is the thing that ignites. Remember, Occupy Nigeria of 2012 was to move petrol from, I think, 87 naira to 97 naira. We were showing this Tinubu, Bakare, named them. They occupied Lagos for actually 4 days. Jonathan capsized and brought the thing back to 87 naira. That's the listening president. Naira, I'm talking 87 naira. I'm not talking of 100. You're not here to up to 100 naira. 87 naira. Now, the very moment this man was sworn in, that was the day he destroyed Nigerian economy by a careless word that was not even in his speech. Because that fuel subsidy is gone was not in the speech. The people who wrote his acceptance speech and inauguration speech never put fuel subsidy is gone. But all of them have been saying we will remove fuel subsidy. But he didn't know the style the other ones want to use to remove the fuel subsidy. So he simply said, because maybe P2B in his campaign said he will remove fuel subsidy. Atiku said he will remove fuel subsidy. And now he now said fuel subsidy is gone. Immediately he made that pronouncement. He doesn't know that the words of a president is law. Every filling station in Nigeria adjusted their pump price just from mere speech. He had not even left the Eagle Square. Now, from that day, Uche, till now, we have never been the same. Nigeria has, see, I know if I can classify myself as middle class. I can classify, because why do I say I can as at the time Jonathan, I mean Tinubu wasn't in power, maybe during the time of Jonathan, I can buy rice in bag, I can buy beans in bag, I can buy yam in 100 and keep in the house for my family to feed on. But today, what is remaining for me to buy rice in cup? To buy 2 cups of rice. That is how you measure economy. I'm just trying to give you the layman's indices of measuring economy. Because if they can say that the GDP of Nigeria is also 100 trillion, what does it translate to the life of the common man in the streets? That's what you check. Can you now move from MNA to Old Park with 100 naira? You know you cannot. If you don't have up to 500 naira, you can move. And now, how many people can afford something beyond even the 70,000 naira minimum wage? And even if you are given the 70,000 naira minimum wage, what can it buy for you? Because you don't check indices of growth, economic growth, from aristocrats or bourgeoisie. No, you check it from the middle class and the downtrodden.
All right. What you're saying, in essence, you know, we've been talking about a $1 trillion economy,
okay,
by 2030. From what you're saying, don't you see the feasibility of this $1 trillion economy by 2030?
No. Even if you have a $2 trillion economy by 2030, the ordinary measure in the street will it reflect the $1 trillion economy we are talking about. See, these things, there are no rocket science in making the economy of any nation grow. The major thing that is setting the economy of Nigeria back is because Nigeria cannot feed itself. And why has Nigerian poverty degenerated to that level? Because terrorists and bandits have seized the agricultural base of Nigeria, which is northern Nigeria. They have seized it up. Virtually every state in northern Nigeria, some local governments are occupied by terrorists, collecting toll and forcing people to pay taxes to them for them to go to their farm. And then they will put those things in the price of the crops and send it down to the south here. And then the man will add up this, because remember, first of all, the government gas almost 1,000 something and fuel 949. Now they will add the cost of transport. The farmer will add the cost of maybe cost of labor, cost of agricultural machineries he hired, and maybe other instances like insecticides that you use to preserve the crop. You add them up and then add the tax the terrorists will collect from him, package the goods, and sell to the southern merchant who deals in foodstuff. The southern merchant will bring it to, because they have killed the railway that ordinarily should have run from Maiduguri to Port Harcourt. They destroyed it. They are interested in building railway from north to east or to west. Not to west is pure the mercantile and digital economy, not agricultural economy. So now, having done that, the people have to ferry their goods by haulage. And haulage means using ordinary trailer and ordinary vehicles. What trailers carry in 1 month to southern Nigeria, two trips of rail can carry it in two times. What trailers carry in 1 month, rail line twice can carry it in 2 days. Now they have bastardized the rail line, which they should have ordinary complete, because there was a rail line before. So why remove it? Because they don't want good things to come down this way. But let us leave it. Now that thing now made I'm just looking at the trillion economy you quoted. The man who added, so the man who is now carrying goods by vehicle will add up the money charged by these vehicles. Now when he comes here, he will also charge the money for loading and offloading. Now he will also add the money for trade union, because they are all in unions. Now having added all this money, he will now wait for you, the consumer, to come and buy. So what if they buy a bag of Nigerian rice, maybe in Nasarawa, for say 40,000? Before you get down here, that rice will be sold for 80,000. Because adding all these things I'm telling you now, to move the price up to 80,000. And now, the economy you are trying to boost, is it getting at the root of the people you are ruling? So if they have curtailed terrorism in the north, allowed farmers to go to their farm, any nation that cannot feed itself is not independent. Nigeria is not independent as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Now, you're already talking about, you've already told the next line of question that I want to go into. I wanted to get your perception. You know, the last time you were here, we were talking about Nigeria being designated as a country of particular concern.
Yeah.
As of today, that has, evolved, that we are seeing Nigeria engaging in diplomatic approach to have an understanding with the government of the United States of America. But added that, I want to still get your perception on security in Nigeria as of today.
Security is at its lowest ebb, which I have never shedded tears, even when my mother died. But with the brutal murder of Brigadier General Abuba, what is his name? Musa. But when I saw the thing online, I shedded tears. Is this 11 Nigerian degenerated into ragtag army, arresting our generals and killing them in cold blood? Our generals, which, do you know what it takes to train one Nigerian from cadets, from that, even if like some of them who start from military school in secondary school before they go to the cadet school, before they then get the rugged military training and start rising from second lieutenant up to brigadier general. Then ragtag army will just surround such a person and then make a joke of our security agency. That was the height of insecurity in this country. The other one that have been showing us, there were two stood out. That's Obamusa's death, and the other assistant commissioner of police, who was killed by a terrorist and collected his uniform, wore the man's uniform to a peace meeting. Man, what an insult. And now you left what you should be pursuing and decided to consistently descend on Nnamdi Kanu, who is agitating for freedom of his people, and a lot of people who are destroying the nation. You see that Nigeria has, but we need to brain reset. Okay. And this is what the insecurity that's going on now is what led to the Nigerian Civil War. Obvious marginalization, obvious victimization, obvious intimidation. 2 laws for one nation. One law for Uche, different law for vacancy. That's what led to the war. You feel some people being killed in pogrom. Go on, turn the blind eye. The Igbos were being massacred. Women, pregnant women were their stomach was ripped open. They are amongst them, slaughtered with them, and people were taking pictures and showing on. And he felt nothing was happening. He said he didn't know. Today, that same thing has boomerang. That's why I say whatever goes around comes around. It's now happening in Plateau, his own home state. And I thank God for keeping him alive to see it. Because if God has died, I wouldn't be so happy. But the good that he's alive, let him be seeing what is happening. Because he actually did it. If he had stopped that at that time, and then cautioned the soldiers to stop the pogrom, Nigeria couldn't have gone into any war.
So you see a link between the happenings in 1967, 1970 to what is happening in northern Nigeria at the moment?
What is happening in Nigeria is even worse. It's even worse because what they brought is killing them. What Rufai and Buhari brought to Nigeria is what is killing people of the north.
Okay. I want to ask, recently some northern states are beginning to close schools. In fact, Kwara, Kebbi, Niger State.
Boarding schools.
Yes, and no, some states are talking about shutting down entire
schools.
Entire schools.
Good.
What's your take on that? Are we conceding to these terrorists, or do you think that's a sound security measure, given that the bandits are now targeting young teenagers, young school
The
students?
truth is that Tinubu is not in control. Period. Let's tell ourselves the simple truth.
Why would you say that?
I will say it because I can't be a commander-in-chief of the armed forces and president of Nigeria, and I'll give the military a marching order. A ragtag institution will defeat my military. No.
What would you have done different?
That's what I'm telling you. I could have started weeding from the military themselves.
We've seen the president, reshuffle the military.
No. He's getting it wrong now. You see, water was trying to push down this studio, and rather than going to see where the source of water, mischanneled before it came here, you are trying to patch it up from here. It will still be coming down. So service chiefs are not the problem. The problem is with the military, the insider military. Those people recruited, let him give them marching order. I want to see a list of people you recruited during the Buhari era, especially the repentant Boko Haram. Give me their list. He's the commander-in-chief of armed forces.
Yes.
Leave everything you are doing. Tell the list. You will see the list. You will give the chief of army staff marching order. All these people should be summarily dismissed from the army. These Boko Haram recruits, remove them from the army first of all.
But we're told they are already reintegrated into the army, and they are now. I'm
coming. That's why I said you can't. If I have been your enemy fighting you all the while, maybe this cameraman comes and says, "Oh, Gauchi, reconcile with the fucker," and the fucker is now repentant. I'm not the one who say I'm repentant. It is because your cameraman said I'm repentant. He said, "Okay, fucker, I have forgiven." You are now back part of the studio here. You open up here. Once you keep me on air, I start lashing at you rather than doing the program you get calling me for. That's where you now know I have not repented. It is difficult for Boko Haram people to say I am a repentant Boko Haram. I can join Nigeria Army safely. Look, these people you have been fighting, all of a sudden, they tell you they are repentant, and now you're integrated into the army, and you now carry your troops to go and fight their remaining brothers in the forest. So how much are you paying them compared to the money they make from criminality? If you even want to check the financial aspect of the whole thing, because somebody said banditry, terrorism in the north is a big business. Remember the kind of money they collect. You know the kind of money you can put in your pocket and walk about. This kind of money must put in a bank. Our banks are also complicit. So if you want to change the security architecture, start from the scratch. Then after that, you go and look at the military budget. After the military budget, check how that military budget flows down to the constable or to the private in the ranks and file. If you have made provision that soldiers should be paid 120,000 naira as minimum wage, you go and check whether they are paid that money. If you say their ration on one front should be 2 times a day, but it has to be heavy food, you go and check who is the contractor that supplies the heavy food. If you say soldiers who undertake mutiny should be summarily dismissed, you check whether there is a mechanism that gives them opportunity to say why they are creating mutiny. Nobody goes ahead as a military man to say I will conduct mutiny, I will involve in mutiny. Something must have happened. So tell them. And these people who desert from the army or desert from the police and come to social media and complain what their bosses are doing, these are people who are giving you feedback. As chief, commander-in-chief of the armed forces, go and check those things that are complaining about. You're not telling the chief of staff they are dismissed. Okay, if you dismiss Brotai and he still owns his house in Dubai, so what else you are dismissed are done to him? Because if you dismiss him and they have not cautioned you, have not dealt with the corruption he has engaged in, any other one can still engage in the same thing. So the sleaze in the military continues. Now there is a rumor. Initially, was that there was a meeting in the army. Before we said there are people organized a coup. They said no, there was no coup. Now they said they are now arresting people. It was then that the military high command now came and said yes, it is routine inspection and routine check. They have not told us what happened to those people that are arrested. Because if somebody says you are arrested for coup, planning coup, you must have to try me. And if I'm the bold type, I'll tell you why I'm planning coup. And if those people tell you under investigation why they are planning coup, it is for you to go and plug those holes so that no other person will plan coup again. That is how you check security. That's how you make security successful. Now, all the money you collect as aid from United Kingdom, France, Canada, America to assist Nigerians fight insurgency, where did the money go? That is the questions these people should be asking. Those people who are the helm of affairs, not changing chief of staff of army, chief of staff of navy. That one doesn't make any difference. They are big men already. They don't even know what the constable or what the private in the field sees, because many of them too don't even go to war. Because Nigerian generals don't go to war. They become generals because maybe a year of service.
Still on security issues, we
yes.
saw a meeting recently in Southwest where the Southwestern governors converged and set up a Southwest Security Fund, and equally they were talking about state policing, and that's where I still want to get your view. Don't you think with all that is happening, it's time that we really legislate and have state police in Nigeria?
Yes, I am an advocate of state police, but with a lot of modifications. I say state police is okay, but to avoid abuse, you must have a state police that will be funded by the federal government.
Okay.
Management and control could be left to the state. So that if you as governor who is managing and controlling the state police decides to do otherwise, the federal government can now plug the salaries of those police officers so that they can do the right thing. So that's why if you leave governors to pay them, leave governors to control them, I doubt, because I use local government elections to know what those governors can do. There is no governor in Nigeria who ever conducted a local government election. His party will always win all the seats. But INEC will have been criticized all the while. At least in some states, APC will win, in some states, PDP will win, in some states, Labour will win. But at least INEC, well, they may have about 45% transparency. But state INEC, that one is 90% loyalty to the governor. So if they can do that with election that brings people into political office, how about the police that they will use to muzzle other people? So if they are going to do that, then they must also have to look at both local government police, state police, and then energizing local vigilantes. So everybody will now have a stake. So there will be a time where the state police oversteps it. The local vendor will even tell them no.
Right.
So like it is in the United States, there are sheriff everywhere. Okay. Local sheriff, community sheriff, zonal sheriff, everybody, they have their own police. Then there's the federal force. So if you want to do it, this is advisable, but I still say the control and the financing should not be left to the governors of states because they will abuse it.
All right. Let's look at the issue of state policing. Recently, there's been, ongoing debates around the creation of additional 31 new states for the federal structure and governance in Nigeria. As someone who is from the eastern part of the nation, what's your take on the creation of additional 31 states?
What difference will it make? Maybe we get representation equal to that of the North in the National Assembly. Now, those who are there, how many of them are talking? How many of them have ever said, my name is Okeko Okafo, I move that Ugwayama Road should be, fixed? How many? Apart from once in a while, we have had RG talk. Besides Abaribe, who has ever been consistently on his foot for Southeast, and occasional RG speaking. How many other people do you know in the National Assembly here? So that's because I know give us more states is just let us balance our quota at the National Assembly. But balancing your quota at the National Assembly, what difference will it make? The one way that you have now, how far have you gone with not marginalizing yourself? Because you must have to say count one before you count two. If you cannot do something positive with resources given to you from the federation account in your own state now, and you think that when the states are divided into 10, maybe Enugu now has Enugu, Ada, maybe one other state again. So that's when you will now get those things and get it done. I'm an advocate of state creation, but the questions has to be asked. What have the ones who have achieved now? There are some states in the north. If you stop federal allocation today, they will fizzle out. But they are imbued and they do with mineral resources in their states. They don't want to leave that comfort zone of going to Abuja to collect money. They want to stay every month. They go to Abuja for fund allocation. You collect money, you pay salaries, you filter the rest, use it to buy houses overseas or go to Dubai and have a vacation. It is only an idle nation that spends the kind of humongous amount that people spend on pilgrimage. God, the Bible will really say God is everywhere. So when people go to Jerusalem, go to Saudi Arabia.
That's your faith.
No. That God is everywhere. Even the Quran says it. God is everywhere. Because Stephen, when he was being stoned by the people, because he said he would destroy the temple and build it up in 3 days, the Israelites didn't understand him. They were studying him. He said, people asked him why. He said this man has uttered blasphemous words. He said he would destroy this temple that took Solomon how many years to build? 200 something years to build. He said, no, you people are getting it wrong. You are the temple of God. Destroy this temple. In 3 days, I will rise again.
But Barrister, those of us who are of the Muslim faith believe with the injunction that we must undertake Hajj at least once in a lifetime. You are saying, is there anything wrong in government helping us to realize?
If you want on that injunction in the Quran, did it say government must sponsor you? You say you undertake Hajj once in your lifetime. Take your money and undertake Hajj now. Which one is our business?
All right.
If your money says you must go to Jerusalem for pilgrimage, bring your money. You want to answer JP, Jerusalem pilgrim. Take your money, get visa, go to Israel. If your own God stays in Israel, go there and pray. Maybe your God wants a flight. You join you in the flight to go to Israel. So, but what I say that we waste money on frivolities. Offices of First Lady, Hajj, pilgrimage. This is the things where we should channel to make agriculture productive here and have enough food for us to eat.
Okay. Barrister, I know you've been, as a legal luminary, I want to get your considered opinion on the issue of sentencing of Nnamdi Kanu. I beg the father is a very controversial issue in Nigeria, but a lot of people are talking across the divide, not just the Igbos, not some Hausas are talking, some Yorubas are speaking up as well. Let's get your considered view.
When this matter started, I keep on saying it in every media I go, that Nnamdi Kanu's case is not a criminal case you should handle in the court. It is political. It is a political issue. The young man says, I want a referendum. The young man says, I want better life for my people. If you are not treating us fine, they will make a referendum to know whether we want to still stay in the conglomeration called Nigeria. I don't see it as something you should solve in court. So the solution lies with the presidency, lies with political class. And that was what the president did immediately he came in. Remember there was this Mieti Ala young man that was being prosecuted. Immediately the president came, the man said it's only not about terrorism, it's only about if people don't want to make the North, we want to get a Arua Republic. President ordered a knowledge prosecute for him from the Attorney General's office. His case was discharged, he was discharged. Igbo was also fighting the same cause. He said he wanted to do a republic. His own case was discharged. Maybe there were things they gave those people that made them now go back and keep quiet. But now maybe he has refused those things and said he will not keep quiet. And that's why he's always gone on trial. Now, as to the sentencing, I said before that I'm not going to talk about the matter when it was in court. But now the judgment has been given. Everybody is now free to criticize the judgment, analyze the judgment, and say what they think about the judgment. As far as I'm concerned, the judgment is like 2 steps backward, 1 step forward. So if you know what just if I have gone through his judgment and see what his reasonings, I won't say, even though I know there are still avenues for them to appeal, make some changes in whatever judgment he has given. But then the truth of the matter is that I also discovered, even from the reading of the judgment, where the judgment was being read, that he was also chewing the thing. Which this script before you now is the program we are doing. Once you look at the script, you ask me questions. You don't even need to read it to ask me the question I have here, because you wrote the question. If your cameraman wrote this question for you, the question is that sometimes you read in between lines. So I saw the judgment being read by Omoto Shadadi because I was hearing the judgment. It wasn't flowing like something he wrote. But let us not dwell in the altar of suspicion. But it wasn't smooth. If I were a judge and I wrote my judgment, I would be reading it very fluently. 2, there were some reasonings he said in one of the reasons that even though the extrajudicial rendition from Kenya on the face of it is illegal or will be seen as illegal, but the waste an accused person is brought to court for his trial does not vitiate the trial. The question now in law is that can you benefit from your illegal act? See, he has a good legal team. I mean, Nnamdi Kanu. He himself is also cerebral. But let us wait for whatever an appeal will say. But I still say the matter eventually is going to end up as a political issue to be solved by giving a political solution. If it is a war that the federal government is fighting, maybe Nigerian Biafra war that started in 1967 had not ended in 2025. What it means is that they are expecting a war front, war engagement to end in the battlefield, which it doesn't end. Every war starts on a table like this. Every war ends on a table. So that war between Nnamdi Kanu or between IPOB or between Nigeria and Southeast or Igbo people will eventually end on the table. So the best option is to explore the table first. Don't allow the war to escalate first before you explore the table. Because if the table can solve the problem, why go to the war front first? Call the people to the table. And I like what Peter B has ever said. Because whenever he asks about IPOB, he says, whoever is agitating for anything, agitation. Not whenever we take up guns. But even if you take up guns, I call them, ask you your reason. So that has been the man's stand. Whatever agitation I have as president, I will call the people agitating to a round table. They ask me what about Boko Haram? I say, well, Boko Haram may have their reason for agitating. You call them. Let them tell us why they're agitating. Terrorists might have their reason for firing. Because you see, most of the terrorists, they have been granting interview to press. They said, these people brought us here. And we have been heading cows. We don't know anything about gun. They gave us the gun.
Allegedly?
Allegedly, it's on social media, it's on purpose. They have not denied it. I want the government to deny those things.
They've not mentioned any names.
No. Are you saying you have not? You recall that El-Rufai granted a national press conference. And when he was asked about those people terrorizing the North, he said they have finished with them and they have told them to go. Now, my question why I heard the press responsible that day was, why didn't the press ask El-Rufai, what did these people do for you that you have paid them for? Because you don't start paying people or bringing people to pay.
All right, so,
so you people in the press are also complicit.
Barrister, for words of time, we are really out of time. I want to get your outlook and your advice going forward to 2027.
No. My advice is that let them do the right thing at the right time. Let them face the issue of insecurity. It has ravaged the entire Nigeria. If they can control insecurity, everything will keep in place. We are now like prisoners in our own country. Which you cannot start your car now, move free from here to Kaduna. But before, it gives joy to join Vintrail, to go to the north. So we are now prisoners. Even to go to your village here, I'm talking, Kaduna is even millions of miles away. I'm talking about you going to your village here. For me to travel to exactly my village now, I will keep on, as I'm driving, I will be making calls. I'll be making calls, asking people, I hope the road is free. So is that life? We are prisoners in our own country. So let us be free first. Any man that's not free can hardly progress. When we are free, we now come as and that will flow. We can carry goods to Lagos, we can carry goods from Lagos. So, but if we are not free, everybody will be afraid.
All right. Let me get your advice to your own political party. You said you're of the Labour Party, which is in tatters, and the PDP, which is highly fragmented. Let me get your advice to the opposition on how to put their hands together going forward. To
the use of the word tatters, I would disagree with that. Labour Party is not in tatters. We must have our differences between the factional leader called Julius Abure and another factional leader called Namadi Usman. We might have that. It's in every organization. Everywhere where human beings are gathered, definitely there must be disagreement. And that's why even the Bible said, wherever there is 12, there must be one Judas. So in other words, if you have 24, 2 Judases, 36, 3 Judases, as the number increases, the number of Judas increases. Remember, the Labour Party had never had the kind of cloud they had with the entry of Peter. So that's what is expected. It was. Do you hear any of these small parties, ZPP, KRP, all those small parties? Have you ever had they have crisis? They're not in crisis. They don't need to have crisis.
They are heavier than the Labour Party.
Thank you. So what I'm saying, that if Labour Party refuses to get their ass together, the Labour movement is ever ready to give our support to Peter wherever he goes. And once he makes a choice of a political party, even if it's which a political party he makes as a choice today, you will see the action immediately.
All right.
So if any party that wants to be in Tata can be in Tata, that's their business.
All right. You've heard the views of our guests, which are not entirely the views of the editorial team or the editorial position of the station. However, remember that on the inside, your views matter. Let us know what you think about what other barrister Nadumo Fokansi has said. Let's know what you think and other issues that we should discuss and going forward into 2026 and 2027 as well. Reach us with the hashtag The Insight on Ataneke TV on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. I still remain your host, Uche Osai, and also Nadume Barrister Fokansi.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure always having you.
Thank you, Uche, for having me.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure having you around.
That's it for today on The Insight. It will come your way next time. Bye-bye.